All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to round two of the Arizona State Championships presented by Innova. As you know, or hopefully know, the last round was not really good. Um, it didn't go exactly how I wanted to. Towards the end, we kind of got better, but that round was the day after, or the day before. So we had to move on, focus on this next round. Got to start off at even par because it's a new round. And this round took place at McPherson, which is in North Flagstaff, like 15 minutes away from Little America. So this is a 21-hole course. I don't remember how long it is. I'll put it right here, how long that course is. And I'll just go through this, talk about how I did, and hope you guys enjoy, because this is probably one of the more fun rounds I had in this whole entire tournament. All right, hole one. We're starting it off with an easier hole one than Little America. It's basically just a straight hyzer, maybe a little flip up, and it should be really good, which is exactly what I did. But the ground play there is really good because all the pine needles fall off, and it gives it like a perfect like ice skip for you. So it landed probably about 80 feet from the basket long. So I had to lay up and take a tap in par. So we're already off to a better start than Little America. We're even. And so we moved on to hole two, which is a flexing forehand I threw with the Firebird. So I had to approach with the harp, and that turned into a tap-in par. So we're still off to a better start. We're even par through two. Yesterday we were two over. So now we move on to hole three, which is the start of the temporary holes that they put in for this tournament. So it was 3 through 8. Were all brand new temporary holes. No one had ever played them unless you came for a practice round. So hole three is just a straight shot as far as you can get it. Well, not really as far as you can get it because the basket's down there. It's a par three, and I gave it an ace room. We all thought it was going in. The tournament, like, where you check in for the tournament, is right by that basket for that hole. And they even thought it was going in. Everyone, you could, like, hear them all, like, getting all excited for it. And it ended up being about 5 feet in front of the basket. And so it put me to about 70 feet because of the pine needles. It skips really far. So I took a jump putt at it, and I hit the top band of the basket, and it landed right under it, had a tap-in par. So we moved on to hole four, which is still a temporary hole. My drive was not the best, but I had a good putt attempt to get me to about 11 feet for a par. And that hole, I believe I was the only one to take a par on that hole. So that's pretty good. So we moved on to hole five, which is a long hole, but an easy hole to score on if you play it the right way. Which, you could say I played it the right way, you could say I didn't. I drove it straight into a tree about 200 feet down the fairway, and then I had to take an approach up there again, and then approach again, and then had a par putt. So we moved on to hole six, and these 3 holes coming up start off the really tricky holes that a lot of people could not par. Like, most of these holes, or these next 3 holes, it was a lucky par if you got it. So this one was, I believe, a par 4, but I hit first available tree on the right, and then I had a great upshot getting me to about 60 feet. I jump putted that. It hit the top of the band again and dropped down. So I had to tap in bogey, so we're 1 over. Then hole 8. Hole 7. This is a flexing forehand which is not that hard of a hole once you get out the gap. If you don't get out the gap, you're lucky for a bogey. If you get out the gap, there's a chance for a birdie. But basically, these 3 holes, I just played them for par, try and get lucky, which I ended up getting this one for par. So we moved on to hole 8 at 1 over par. They didn't design this hole really well. There was really no line coming out of it, coming off the tee box towards the basket. So in my little caddy book notes, I had to write, throw it and hope for the best. Because that's really all you could do on that hole. Like, I probably spent, probably 10, 15 minutes just throwing my whole bag on that hole during my practice round and seeing if I could find the right line. But I didn't, and I didn't want to throw my arm out before the round. So I threw it, hoped, and it was a really, really good shot. It landed about 100 feet from the basket. So then I threw my berg up there, and I was really shorting these. So I had about a 30-footer that I putted in for par. So we're 1 over through 8 holes, which is so much better than the day before. This is an easier course, but still, to come back from being 15 over like that, it's pretty good. Hole 9. This is where we go back to the normal holes. This was a combination of hole 3 and 4 of the actual course, the permanent course there. So it's basically a hyzer shot, and then 2 perfect upshots for an easy par. I threw my cataclysm. Again, it didn't hyzer out. It flipped up. So I got caught in some trees, had a hard line, threw it into another tree, then had to weirdly overhand tomahawk jump putt it to get close to the basket. So then I had a tap in bogey. Not the best, not the worst. So we're 2 over through 9 holes. Now this is definitely better than the day before, like I've said already. But I would like to have been a little lower in score than that. But 2 over is still fine for what I wanted to do on that day. I wanted to be about even to 5 over, around that range, to give me a good luck for a payout, which was top 10. And 10th place got $13, a whole $13. So that was my goal, was to get payout. So tune in tomorrow to see if I end up doing it, or whenever I post the next video. But before then, we still got 9 holes to get through. So let's move on to those 9 holes, the back 9. All right, hole 10. It's super uphill, probably adds about 100 feet to the hole length. So I threw it straight into the ground because it was uphill, and I had to just basically accept the bogey at that point because there was no way I was going to come back from that. So we move on to hole 11 at 3 over. This was the luckiest shot ever. I early released it low and it hit something, skipped it over a log, and gave me a 40-foot putt. It was going to go from getting me a 150-foot upshot to giving me a 40-foot putt, just from whatever it skipped on. I wish I got that on video because it was so crazy. But so then I tried to make that putt, missed it low, hit the pole. So then I had a tap in par for that. So we moved on to hole 12, which is another uphill shot. And my throw had the perfect look for par. It was basically going to be a par, but for some reason that putt came out wrong. It hit the cage, came out a little low, so I had to take a tap-in bogey. So not what I wanted, but gotta take what you can get. So we move on to hole 13, which is basically just a forehand. And so forehand it up the hill a little bit, approach it in, take a par from 20 feet. Really nothing special on that. So we're 4 over through 13. And now we get to these crazy downhill shots. So hole 14, this is one I did not know where the OB was. I knew it was on the right side, but I didn't know how close it was to the actual, like, fairway. So I took an overstable disc, my Diamondback, and threw it downhill so I would get some turn, but mostly fade. So I was for sure going to be on the left. And then when I got down there, I could see the OB line. So I took an approach up and took an easy par. So we're 4 over still through 15, or through 14 actually. Hole 15 is an uphill shot. Every single time I've ever played there, I don't know what it is, but that hole, I always throw it into the trees on the left side. I don't know why. And then my upshot ended up going long into the trees. Had to take like a weird standstill putt because I was on the edge of the circle from behind some trees. So I had to take a weird standstill putt. Missed that, so I had to take a very, very, very sad bogey. So 5 over through 15, we're at what I was hoping to shoot over these 21 holes, and we shot and we're there at 15 already. So got to keep it around there. Hole 16 is a really easy par 5. You basically just need 2 power drives to get down to the bottom, and then the basket's like up on a little hill. So I had to look for eagle, but I missed it left. It was going to go in, faded a little too much. So then I had to tap in birdie, so we're 4 under par. So we're back on track. And then hole 17, I threw it straight into the ground off the tee. Early released it like crazy. And then I threw it into some trees. Someone had to throw it on this hole for birdie. So that was cool to see. But I had to fight for the bogey on this hole. Missed my putt for bogey. So then I double bogeyed this hole. So I'm 6 over par now on hole 17. So not exactly what I was hoping for, but we'll work through it. Hole 18, I had a perfect drive that if it would have missed a tree, or actually it was a bush that was growing into a tree, it would have skipped me right into the circle for probably a tap-in. But I didn't. It hit the tree. I had a putt from circle 2. I ran it and missed it high, and it put me to about 30 feet. So it went from a circle 2 putt to a long circle 1 putt, which I ended up making, thankfully. So that put me to 5 over par through 18. And now we move on to the 3 holes that were, I guess they weren't added, but they were like changed for this tournament. So hole 19, I threw it into the ground. Upshot with my Buzz SS put me way long. It just glided forever for some reason. So I didn't want to push it. So I just laid it up for a bogey. Hole 20, this is an ace run hole. They have a camera set up and they film every single shot there. So if someone aces, they can get it on camera. I threw it to the left of the basket. Had a putt from about 15 feet. Missed it right for some reason. I normally never miss those. But I missed it right for some reason. I don't really know what happened there, but not exactly what I wanted. So I had a tap in par on a hole that should have been birdied. And then hole 21, the last hole here at McPherson, is a forehand just to get around the trees to get up towards the basket. And then I had an easy par. So that put me at 6 over overall for this round. That moved me up 2 spots, tying me in 13th place, moving into the final round. And I have to move 3 places up again, basically, to get cash. So 6 over at the 21 hole layout at McPherson was 871 rated. So that averaged out my tournament rating to like 850, I think, at this point. Somewhere like 840, somewhere around there. This was a really, really good round. I'm really happy with it. but I wish I could have shot maybe a little better. If I didn't throw those 2 into the ground, that's 2 holes that I par, maybe bogey, that one that I doubled, and that puts me at 4 over. But can't do anything now. So tune in to the next video where I talk about my round 3. Do I cash? Do I not? We'll see. That's all I'm going to leave you with. And I've never done this, but I kind of want to now because I'm on this chair that spins. I'm going to spin around and say goodbye to you guys. Ready? See ya.